you? Today I'm going to teach you how to make a delicious dessert with no sugar, no flour at all to give it texture, no condensed milk, no heavy cream. You're going to love it for sure. It's a recipe that's super rich in protein and fiber. And this recipe is completely vegan, so there's no eggs, no milk. It's also great for those who are allergic or intolerant to cow's milk. You'll love it for sure. Stay until the end because you're going to love it. It's perfect for those moments when you want to eat something sweet, but you want it to be healthy. And before we start this delicious recipe, which has way fewer carbs than traditional sweets, I want to ask you, what's your favorite sweet treat? Write it for me down below in the comments. I'd love to see your answer. And remember to go ahead and like the video, because that really helps me out here on the channel. And if you know someone who would like to have a healthy sweet treat in their daily life, who looks for healthier options, not just for ourselves, right? But for our families too, share this video and let's spread this chain of kindness. Remember that the ingredients with their quantities and nutritional information are always listed down below in the description. My first ingredient, which will be the base of this delicious treat, is unsalted roasted peanuts. Peanuts are a very interesting source of energy for our daily lives. They contain much fewer carbohydrates than most people think. It's a food that's quite rich in protein, very high in fiber, and also has a healthy fat content, which helps you feel full. So, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to process my peanuts here, adding them little by little, and I'll blend them so they end up in small pieces. I don't want peanut flour. I want them to be in little chunks like this. If you want to use a blender, that works too, but I prefer to use a food processor because I think it gives us better control over the size of the pieces. So I'm going to process the peanuts here and then transfer them into this bowl. So I'll process a little at a time and put it in here, process a little more and then put it in here. And then I'll come back to show you how it turned out. Hang on. Look, so I've processed the first batch here, and I want to show you that the idea is for it to look like this. See, in pieces with some parts more finely ground, so that we actually get different textures here. So I'm going to do the rest. And I also want to remind you that if you want to use other types of nuts, like pistachios, walnuts, or almonds, that works too. Tell me, what do people in your region usually use the most? I really like peanuts because they're very affordable, right? And they're easy for us to find. Later, I'll do this third batch here again. But let me know what works best for you, okay? So I'll keep going here and I'll be right back. Hang on. This smell of peanuts is just wonderful, isn't it? Just so you can see here, look, they're all crushed. And now I have my chocolate here, at least 70% cocoa, okay? Remember that chocolate is very rich in bioactive compounds. It also has a lot of fiber. People don't know that. And this chocolate here is dairy-free and sugar-free, so it's more suitable for what I want. This isn't mandatory, but if you want a healthier chocolate, look for that as well, okay? But, you know, if you at least get one that's 70%, it'll already be a better quality chocolate. So what am I going to do here now? I'm going to melt it in the microwave. If you want, you can also melt it in a double boiler, so we can mix it later, because besides the chocolate, we're still missing one ingredient, so hold on. So I melted my chocolate here, and I'm not just going to put the peanuts into the chocolate. Before that, I'm going to take some water and pour it into the chocolate. There must be people out there thinking, oh my God, Patricia, what are you doing? You can't put water in chocolate? Yes, you can, because it gives it a totally different texture, and it makes it much easier for us to mix the peanuts into the chocolate here. In fact, it even starts to look like a ganache. You'll see here, look, see how the water gets absorbed? So with this, the texture turns out really nice afterwards. Look, see? It's starting to look different, almost like a mousse. So this is a really cool tip, and you only need water. You don't have to add any other ingredient. Look, see how it's already changing, looking just like a ganache? So I'm going to mix this really well, and then we'll start adding the peanuts little by little. So look, I added water here just until it reached the right consistency, and the amount is always listed below. And you know, I don't really consider water an ingredient in the sense that you don't have to buy it, right? You already have it at home. Everyone already has water at home. That's why I say it's just 2 ingredients, because you'll only need to buy 2 things to make this recipe. So we're going to add the peanuts here little by little and keep mixing. I even grabbed another spoon here to make it easier. When it reaches the consistency I want, I'll transfer it to a serving dish. But before that, I'll show you a trick with the dish as well, so we can unmold it later. So we're going to add it little by little, and then I'll tell you exactly how much peanut I used for this recipe, okay? This smell of peanuts and of chocolate, I have to admit, it's one of my favorites. So let's keep adding it here until it reaches the right consistency. For this amount here, I ended up using 8 ounces of peanuts, 220 grams, but the measurements are always listed down below. Here I have my dish. I put this plastic wrap here because later I'm going to unmold it. If you want to use a silicone mold, that works too. I just wanted to show this alternative because many of you don't have a silicone mold, right? And some of you ask, how can I do it? So I like these alternatives too. So we press this down until it's even in height, right? Make sure it's level on all sides, and then I put it in the fridge because since this is chocolate, that's where it will set. I want to remind you that I have many delicious recipes like this in my playlists. Low carb, low calories, easy, quick, healthy. I'll leave the links in the description for you. There are options for every type of meal, both sweet and savory, and you're going to love them. Now, just give it a quick leveling, a little bit of organizing, right? Just to make sure everything is right. Take it to the fridge, and in a little while, it'll be ready, and I'll come back so we can finish up. Hold on a second. Look how amazing it turned out. Really firm. Look. Now I'm going to cut a few pieces here so we can try this delicious treat. Make this at home. I'm sure you're going to love it. Look at this. How amazing. Look how wonderful. I'm going to keep cutting a few pieces here, and then I'll be right back. Hold on. So it made 8 pieces. Look how great it turned out. I'll pick one up so you can see better how it looks. Amazing, right? Make this at home. You're definitely going to love it. Remember to leave a like on the video. That's really important for me here on the channel. Share it with someone you know will enjoy it. Let's grow our chain of kindness. That's what I want here on the channel. Now let's try it. It's delicious. Peanut with chocolate. I think it's one of the best combinations out there. And this idea of adding water to make it more liquid, to mix better, and form this kind of ganache is amazing. It doesn't add any more calories, right? So go ahead and try it. See you next time. Bye.